this is Brittney Slays from Unleash the Archers, and you're listening to The Dan Chan Show on Hard Rock Hell Radio.
Brittney, how are you?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you, good. So you guys have just released Abyss, which has been hailed by many as the metal album of the year. You must be thrilled with the response.
Well, yes. I don't think I've heard anyone say that yet, but thank you.
I've read it a few places, so yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And I can only agree, it's really good.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. I unfortunately haven't had too much time to read the reviews. I try to save them. I put them away like on a Word document and come back to them later when I have time. So, but I mean, so far, yes, it does seem to be positive reactions from everyone. So, so far, so good.
Well, can I give you another quote from a review I read recently?
Okay.
One of the finest metal singers on the planet right now.
Ooh, yay, thank you.
That's good. See, I'm just bringing good news to you, right?
Yeah, that's great. I like it.
So 2017's Apex was a concept album, and this one is the sequel. Was it always going to be like that, or was it decided after Apex to continue the theme?
Yeah, no, it was always going to be like that. We wrote the both stories at the same time back in 2016. We had discussed, for a few minutes there, maybe about putting them out as a 2-disc record.
Yeah.
At the same time.
At the time, yeah.
But then it was just kind of, we were taking on a little bit too much, and we wanted to make sure that we took our time with each one and that they all got the attention they deserved. And we didn't want to rush anything. So we decided to just do Apex first, and then the story for Abyss was put aside, and we wrote all the music and everything for it in 2019.
So for the listeners that don't know, can you give just a little like snapshot of what the story's about?
Sure. In Apex, we are introduced to our main character, who we call the Immortal, and our villain, who we call the Matriarch. And the Immortal is cursed to serve whoever awakens him from his 1,000-year slumbers. So in Apex, he is awakened by the Matriarch, and she forces him to do some nasty deeds, one of which is, 4 of which are bringing her sons to her so that she can kill them in a ritual to achieve immortality. At the beginning, the Matriarch had promised she would set the Immortal free from his curse after all was said and done. But of course, being a villain, she didn't do that. She betrayed him and sent him back to his mountain to sleep until she had need of him again.
Right.
Fast forward a few decades to Abyss. The Immortal awakens on a starship out in space. The Matriarch is nowhere to be seen. He's not too sure what's going on. And he discovers that his new master is who we call the grandson. So he's the grandson of the Matriarch and the son of one of the men that the Immortal was forced to kill in Apex.
Cool.
So the grandson and the Immortal join forces and vow to, take revenge on the Matriarch.
No spoilers, right?
Right.
Do you find it fun writing concept albums, building character arcs? And I believe you're writing a book about this as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got a graphic novel on the go. Just the first few chapters are written, and I'm working with an artist on everything right now. We're just kind of in character development stages, so no actual panels or anything have been done. But yeah, I really want the fans to be able to see the whole world the way I see it, and to get all of the story. There's only so much that you can do with lyrics, and you don't want it to be super detailed, or otherwise it's not going to make sense, and it'll just be kind of. It'll be really nice when I can finally get that done if I can find the time. Yeah.
For sure. So back to the music then. So how was the recording process of Abyss, and did it differ much from Apex? I believe you recorded it in Denmark, didn't you?
We did, yeah. We went to the exact same studio and worked with Jacob on both records.
Yeah.
So we had everything written before we got there. Well, most of it, and Jacob, kind of was just like, yeah, no, it's great, let's go, and just laid it all down in 3 weeks, and did as best as we could. Lived in Denmark in a little cabin in the woods for 3 weeks, and kind of had a nice little break from the real world.
Yeah. It's a beautiful country.
So yeah, exactly. It was really nice, and that allowed us to completely focus on recording, and you're not distracted by other things like life or a job or anything like that. So we really enjoy what we call destination records, where you just have 3 weeks to get it done.
Yeah.
So it was a really good time both times.
Yeah, I mean, I love the production of the record. The sashaying between like the stadium sound and the 80s sound just made me smile from ear to ear. It's like a glossy AOR album, but metal, if you know what I mean. Is that always
Yeah.
is that always the intention? Like the production is so sublime.
Well, I mean, that's why we went to Jacob, because he's just insanely talented. He's so good at what he does. And, you know, that was how I found him, was by going through all my favorite records, all the albums that I could listen to from beginning to end with no skips, and looking at who produced them. And they were all Jacob. And I mean, all of them. Like every record that I've ever loved, to the point where, you know, it's going to be on my top 20 list kind of thing, they were done by Jacob. So once I discovered that, I was kind of like, well, obviously that's where we're going. And so we booked in with him, and you know, it was important to us that we get that Jacob sound, and it's just kind of what he does. He's so good at heavy metal and at allowing each instrument to have its own space in the mix so you can hear it, but it's still really powerful and kind of comes at you like a wall as well. It's a fine line, and he does it very well.
Yeah, he does indeed. And obviously you've brought a couple of videos out, Abyss and Faster Than Light. Now, Faster Than Light, I've got to ask you, who would actually win in a race between all of you? If it was fair and square, you must have had a little race on that day you did that video, right?
We did, yeah, and Andrew kicked all of our butts.
Did he? I thought it'd be you actually looking at the guys.
No, I'm not a very fast runner.
So, talking about the guys, you all met at university, didn't you?
Yeah, well, Scott and I met at university, and then Grant and Andrew were just like in the metal scene in Victoria. So the original band, we all met at university, but Grant and Andrew were from a different band, and we used to tour with them like crazy back in the day. And then when their band broke up, and then a couple members from our band left, we kind of just merged them into Unleash the Archers. And we'd known them for years, and we knew that they were great musicians and that they loved to tour, and that was kind of our MO. So it just worked out. It was really these two bands that were quite popular in the Victoria metal scene merged together into one is what ended up happening.
And being the only female in the band, are you the mother, the sister, or one of the boys?
Oh, I think I'm more of a CEO.
Right. Okay.
I kind of I'm like, get this done.
The boss.
And,
you're the boss.
yeah, exactly.
As it should be.
I definitely can be the mother at times, but it's really funny because we always talk about roles and whatnot, and Scott is like the dad that just wants to have fun, and he doesn't want to ever be the bad guy. And then Grant is like the youngest, because he's got so much energy and he's always like ready and raring to go. And then Andrew is kind of like the mom sometimes, because he's really chill, and he's like, come on, you guys, let's have a good day, or that kind of thing. And then I'm just kind of more of like let's get shit done.
So with the history of the band I've just come from, where did the name Unleash the Archers come from? Where was the idea of that? Just
kind of plucked it out of the ether. It was no special story or anything. In the early days, we just couldn't come up with anything. We could not agree. None of us liked any of the suggestions from the others. So we had a night where we were not allowed to leave until we had decided on a name.
What time did you finish?
I think it was pretty late. I think it was like 3 hours sitting in a circle back and forthing with each other. It was quite, it was hard. And then someone finally just spouted, like, how about release the Archers? And then we were kind of like, yeah, sort of, maybe how about unleash the Archers?
Yeah, it's cool.
And then no one hated it, so that was the one we went with.
It stuck. And obviously you've got an alter ego, because you're Brittney Hayes, but you're Brittney Slays on stage. How did that one come about as well? Obviously, it sounds like it.
I think I posted like a video of a live performance or something like that, and a friend of mine from the scene was kind of like, Brittney Hayes, more like Brittney Slays.
Cool.
And I was just like, well, taking that, and definitely it's my stage name now, and it's definitely my Superman to the Clark Kent of my normal
do you have
personality.
That? Do you feel that when you go on stage?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm introverted. I like to read and play video games, and I'm just kind of a quiet, nerdy person most of the time. And then I get up on stage, and I'm this, I don't even know, like warrior kind of person, and I have so much energy up there, and I just love it. And yeah, it's definitely a different person. But then, of course, I have this crazy high after the show for like an hour and a bit or so, and then I slowly come back down to earth, and I'm like, oh God, I need to get out of here.
Pick up a book.
I need some alone time.
So obviously, with your vocals being absolutely incredible, what are your personal influences, and what vocalists do you admire?
I love Jeff Tate. He's
Yeah.
huge for me. He's a really big part of how I came to be, finding my metal voice.
Mind Crime, one of the best albums, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mine too.
Yep,
Mine too.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'd been classically trained for 15 years before I started the band, so it was really kind of hard to step away from that and become a metal singer. And Jeff Tate, listening to a lot of Queensryche, and that really helped me to kind of figure out what I want to do. Was it always going to be metal? Was it, or you being classically trained? Was this like a natural route for you, or were you like kind of like? Well, yeah, I mean, I was just a really big fan of heavy metal, and I loved it when I was younger. And then, of course, you kind of lose your way a bit in high school. Yeah. And then when I was 18, I heard Iron Maiden for the first time and was like brought back to who I really am. Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Absolutely. And then from that moment on, I was definitely full-time metalhead. So I think so. Yeah. I don't, I think about what it would have been like to be a pop star, and it's just, the money could be great, but that's about it, I think. That's it. And which band have you played on stage with festivals and stuff that you've like stood at the side and gone, wow, I can't believe it? Iced Earth. Yeah. Really, really big fan of Iced Earth. Matt Barlow was another big influence for me. Yeah. So Stu, who's their new singer, is absolutely just destroying, like doing so well, and he's a fellow Canadian, so I'm really supportive of him and the band, and I've always loved Iced Earth, so it was really cool getting to be side stage and watch them play, and just a bit of a fangirl moment there. Just off the record and away from the music, I know you're a bit of a gamer. What are you into? Right now I'm playing The Last of Us, just trying to prepare for playing The Last of Us Part 2, because I never played the first one, so I'm in the middle of The Last of Us, but I've got a TBP list about 50,000 video games long, so really? Yeah. It's just a matter of time. Yeah, exactly. Do you play on the road, on the bus? Oh, yes. Yeah, I have a Switch. Yeah, Switch is great. I'm super excited for all these games that are getting ported to Switch. It's like I read that. Outer Worlds and all the Metros and The Witcher, and there's just a lot that are kind of slated to be made into Switch games, and so I'm really excited for when we can hit the road again. Cool. Well, that's my next question. I bet you can't wait to set this on the road. Have your plans changed dramatically because of the pandemic, and what are your sights for what's happening in 21? Yeah, I mean, we had what was going to be the busiest year of our lives lined up here. We had 15 festivals booked for summer, and then we had another metal cruise booked for the fall, and we had Australia and Japan and South America and Europe booked for the fall as well, and North America. It was going to be nuts. So all of that's been pushed to 2021, and just slowly working out the dates again. So hopefully it can actually happen. Yeah, well, I've seen you on a few festival posters for next year, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all go ahead. Yeah, most of them have rebooked for 2021, so it's just a matter of whether or not people are wearing their masks and social distancing and trying to keep a lid on this thing. And what song for the new album can you not wait to play? Well, we did a live stream last weekend before, I can't remember, and I really enjoyed playing "The Wind That Shapes the Land." That song I just get lost in the character when I sing that, and really kind of feel the story and everything. So that's probably my favorite. Are you thinking of playing the album in its entirety? I don't know. A lot of people have been asking for that, so maybe that'll be our next live stream. Yeah, that'd be cool. And last but not least, ask everyone this. Tell me, because you've been together a few years now, tell me a funny road story. You must have one or two. Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to remember them. It all kind of flows together after a little while. I'll let you off. No, I just, I really need to think of one and have it kind of ready as my funny, my funny road story that I tell every time, because I'm so bad at remembering things. I'm also the organizer behind everything. So really? got so much on my mind on tour most of the time. Yeah, so I know I don't get a lot of time to play, but 2018 tour that we did with Stryker was like non-stop good times. We had a lot of fun, and we had a Canadian Thanksgiving when we were on the road, which was really cute because Stryker and us just went to this hotel that had like a little restaurant / diner kind of attached to it, and they happened to have turkey dinner as one of the items on the menu. Like that was, one of the things that you can constantly get all year round. So we were just like, oh, this is perfect. And we had a little Thanksgiving dinner together, the two of us, because we were both Canadian bands, and had way too much pie and booze, and definitely were in the pool later than we were supposed to be, and got kicked out of the hot tub, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, Brittney, thanks so much for joining me on the show. I really appreciate it. The album is fantastic, and good luck with it, and hope to see you on the road next year.
Thank you so much. Yeah, me too. Fingers crossed.